Okay, team. After that event, you're heading off to go to Paradise?
Gonna get a Paradise.
Okay. You're setting up the Beetle. Setting off for a bit of a journey. Paradise isn't very far away and quite easy to find on maps. Because it is basically, you know, an allied settlement. So you can set yourselves up, start lumbering off into the fungal forest around Narashiro and leave. Because it is so close, you never really leave the very farmed and controlled areas of the forests around, which is quite pleasant. You're never really at a risk of too much in the way of monsters, although you rarely are when you're on Beetleback anyway. You're kind of not entirely sure if you're going the right way, but you definitely get a bit of a hint when a couple of days into your journey, you pass a very large sign. And the sign is of a smiling gnomish figure holding 3 cards, and the cards light up in order and then go back. Very showy, pointing the way to Paradise. Yeah, basically neon.
Do you think that is where we're going?
Yes.
Imagine so.
Rakath, I think that's where we're going.
A little bit over the top, don't you think?
Well, for our purposes, it suits us well. We do not have to look.
Yeah, it literally tells you where to turn off off the main road. Awesome. You turn and start to approach this gnomish enclave. Narashiro is a big, tall, vertical city that has mostly skyscrapers and things kind of built between them. The trading settlements outside are usually built kind of around a central spoke, and when it comes to farming buildings, they can be whatever. This gnomish enclave kind of looks like it's been built from kind of the outer walls. Ah! The music's very loud as you approach. But as you approach this stone, the stone's much lighter than the area around, in part because it's lit up with bright colors that kind of glow from the inside of this circular enclave. The gnomish buildings are designed to be kind of garish and kind of attractive. They've come to almost conical tops and are painted, and the entranceway is bright and beautiful. As you head inside, no real check of anyone for IDs or anything, but you are definitely looked at by it's not necessarily. They're clearly guards, but they're not dressed like guards. They're dressed sort of like greeters. They're deep gnomes. They're wearing quite tall hats that have flyers and things spindling from them, bright colors, and they bow and they greet you in.
Rakath is going to walk up to one of those and bend down as far as and reach out for a handshake from one of them and say, "Oh, hello!
Welcome to Gokhan's Paradise. Is this your first time being here?"
It is, yes. And
Well.
some direction. Very helpful.
Well,
Have a
if
map.
you're... There are maps on sale in the shop over there, behind the gate. If you're interested in a place to stay, the main casino has rooms for sale over that away. And of course, the church is up in that tower there, if you are interested.
That one right there.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your... What's your name?
Oh, my name doesn't matter. I'm only a greeter here, but you'll find far more important people inside. Absolutely,
Well,
I'm sure.
I'm not a very important person either. My name is Rakath. At least that's what they call me. And I will call you Greeter then.
We'll kind of lead you in, a place to stable your beetle while you're inside, and there's, like the tavern, cantina you were at before, there's a lot of beetles around here. Many of them clearly designed for prisoner transport. They've literally got cages built on top, some small, some large. Sometimes cages built below as well for small creatures that can be easily transported. As you travel inside Gokhan's paradise, you have this brilliant statue in the middle of this sort of serpent sort of thing, with flowers growing all around it. Literal flowers, as well as fungal flowers that grow and glow quite brightly. The colors are extreme. All the structures inside the shops, the casinos, are open-faced, so you can just walk in, get whatever you need, and then there is kind of a verticality to it in that you can kind of walk around upper verandas and things. In a lot of places on these verandas, there are the prize slaves being shown off. Some in cages, most of them not, because these are the prize slaves who know their place and will not cause any trouble. So it's kind of in between, businesses between the slavery and the casino, pretty much. What a lovely place. And there's a lot of music and brilliant sweet smells. And colour.
Voss. And Rakath is whispering this as much as possible.
This might be a good place to see if we can make a connection with the slave army. I imagine they probably have scouts here.
I agree.
I will leave that to you. I'm going to focus on the other aspects of our business here. Yuna, let's gamble!
And then you just see Roshi just like,
Looks like Rofi's with Voss.
Yep. Very awkwardly following behind Boss.
Rakath, you take Yuna over, I imagine, to the big main casino. It sucks you in with red stone and red carpet, and literally a kind of forced perspective intro that leads you inside, where there are straight up drinks being served for people who are playing at the tables, who are playing all sorts of games. Traders run card games, straight up dice, things like that. As well as more simple things like animal races and stuff like that.
Yuna,
Yeah.
have you prepared yourself for the day?
Ollie, has it been multiple days?
Yeah.
Okay, since we got here, so let me do that really quick.
Do you feel prepared to gamble? Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Oh, it's like you are.
Oh, that is very good, actually, to be fair.
In an odd way, yes. I don't see myself winning any of these games today, but I see any number of people losing. So I don't quite know how to use that to my advantage. What do you suggest, Rakath?
Ollie, of the games, how many of them are one-on-one?
Trader's Run is one-on-one. Most of the other ones in this kind of place would be against the dealer.
Yeah.
It's kind of that sort of establishment.
Okay.
Of course, you could always do like a of the beetle races they have there, and then little ones. You could always make the beetle that's the shoe-in to win lose.
Yeah.
With a
We
pawn
could
like
also
that.
make a deal with somebody saying that we could make something lose. In exchange
Yes.
for
That is
the amount.
far more conspicuous, but I do like your thoughts.
Yes, I just don't know how to initiate that conversation, because if I say to them, hey, I can make them lose if you give me half your money for this winning, that's exactly how I'll put it.
Yeah.
I feel like
There's also, similar to how the greeters aren't guards, there are definitely people around here who aren't bouncers, but they're bouncers.
That will very much get us killed, potentially, depending on the size of the bet. I would
Mr.
be more
Rakath, can you roll
Yes.
me an insight roll, I suppose? You do find it odd from reading that journal, and I imagine you still have it with you, where it describes that because of the religious practice of most deep gnomes, which is more, cultural purpose, where the faith they follow encourages them to basically lock away all emotion, to focus on logic. There is a lot of emotion here. There's a lot of great drinks and colors and things like that. It seems very out of character based on what the book says. Not to this place in the book, but just to what deep gnomes are meant to be like.
This is an odd
I like this
place.
place.
It's an odd place for deep gnomes based on the readings that I've done. I wonder how many of these games are rigged. Because that would be the logical thing to do in order to financially profit from this.
Ooh, well, let me start reading people's minds and finding out.
That would be modest, probably, but you need to be careful. They're probably protected against that kind of thing.
I think so.
Yes. Almost certainly if they are magically inclined at all.
You cast this?
Yeah.
You're gonna start snooping around people, walking around, looking at the
The
dealers.
alarm's gonna go off.
It doesn't seem that the dealers think it's rigged. The people here, maybe think it is, but the dealers, they occasionally pray. They occasionally, when a game is going particularly well, it seems that maybe the dealers get some kind of bonus when games are going well. You occasionally hear prayers to Poltaita.
What does that mean?
You don't know.
I don't know. I was not gonna count. What do you think it means?
Poltaita.
I'm assuming that's a religion check.
Yeah,
To see
if you wanna.
that means. Where's religion? There's religion.
Under R for religion.
Sure, it's not under E for illigion.
You flick through the book, and Poltaita is mentioned as one of the gnomish gods. God of revelry and pleasure and gambling and games. It would make sense why these guys are a little different if they follow that god. It's kind of while you're doing that one of the gnomes will step up to you. They're wearing different garb than the others. You can actually hear the movement of chain slightly under the clothing they're wearing and say, "It's come to our attention that you are currently using some kind of magical abilities. For the joy of everyone here, would you please cease?"
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't cast magic. Oh, you're not talking to me! I'm terribly sorry. That's my mistake. I don't know. Sorry. People often get very mad at me and then they get very upset, and I'm sorry. I'm just used to answering for those things. That's my apologies.
It's no worries. I can turn it off, although sometimes it happens without me really thinking about it. Is that going to be a problem?
We can find you if something like that does happen.
Thank you.
Gives you a very polite bow and will actually say compliments of the house, and will hand you what is basically a very small, thin chocolate bar.
Oh,
That's very
And then
nice.
Turn and leave.
I'll split it in half.
What was your name?
That's not important.
I know, but no one is telling me their name, and it makes me very uncomfortable. I have anxiety. You see it in my tone.
He smiles at you as he kind of walks backwards to sort of stand against one of the walls and look over the
Give
room.
me any name. It doesn't even have to be real. Just a name.
He just smiles at you.
Smiley it is. All right.
Now, swoosh, Voss, what are you doing? How are you going to get yourself out of this situation? By this situation, I mean, what are you doing to get yourself into a situation to get out of? You know what
Yeah,
I mean.
I'm just going to, as we're kind of going through, when we're away from people, sit a rope and be like, okay, so you understand who we're looking for, right?
No.
Okay.
You forget, a lot of the conversations he was either not paying attention or unconscious.
We're
So,
looking merely for people who don't belong here. I'll put it that way.
Okay. I'm gonna look around and see if I see people that don't belong here.
Insight roll.
Can I also make an insight roll?
Yes.
I kind of hope I get a 1.
It's near 1.
It's pretty close.
You immediately start looking around, Voss, for... first of all, you would look for anyone linked to the blue-eyed goddess, I imagine. You don't see anyone that seems to... makes you think of that. You do notice of all the slavers around here, one sort of group of slaves are the least oppressed seeming, the least injured. Well, most of the ones you're seeing don't have whip marks or anything like that, because that would make them suffer less. There's one group that seems to have a slight easier time that kind of seems to own a little sort of a shop holding on one of the edges of the walls.
Gotcha. And as we're kind of looking around, I'll like tap Rofi on the shoulder and just kind of like gesture that way and be like,
He would
No,
do a
look.
very obvious just turn and look.
that is possibly what we're looking for.
Okay.
Do you see why?
Do I see why?
No!
Can I?
You're like, ah!
Nah.
Well, this is important. See, look at the way that he interacts with the other slaves in under their ownership. It should strike you as odd that you may not treat them as equals, but he's acting the way someone would act if they were trying to act as if they were a slave owner, not as if they actually are a slave owner. You understand? Come with me. And I'll just start walking.
You walk over.
On the way over, Rofi is gonna just sort of stop him for a second and say, I have a thing. Here, look, just... here, and he hands you a device. Use it when you want to be better at what you want to do.
Okay.
You walk over. The drow man running this stall is wearing a little bit of armor. It seems mostly to be ceremonial. The slaves in here aren't caged, but they are leashed to the wall, and they're mostly drow. He gives you a smile and a bow, and says, "Is there anything here that takes your fancy? Buying a servant for the little one, I see."
I'll just nod and just say, yes, he is in need of some extra care when his parents
A
are
wet
alive.
nurse.
Perhaps. I'm
Or if you
looking
look
for
confused.
a few different individuals who might be able to assist in care of the little one. I don't know if you
Well,
have children of your own, but you may know how it is.
well, sometimes when rearing these, it feels like having children.
Whew.
Well, that is a very odd way to look at it, I suppose. For we do not typically whip our children when they misbehave.
You
At
do not?
least I personally do not, but perhaps I am growing soft in my
That
old
would
age.
explain why your son is slouching.
I'll just kind of like, with the back end of my sword, without actually getting it, you can just give it like one of these to like prop your shoulder.
He like almost falls backwards from the backpack and just back up.
Well, we have creatures of all talents. I specialize in, well, many of these will help you with administrative duties. They're quite good at calligraphy, storing, writing. All of them can read Elvish, Undercommon. Some of these can read Dwarven, some a few more exotic languages when needs must. This lady over here learned how to read Common from a human. Very useful with the times coming.
It's very impressive indeed. Although I do not fear that educating someone in a position such as theirs could be a danger.
It depends if they know their place or not in the world, in the great wheels that turn, the great machines that run the world. Perhaps in the hands of the gods. Who am I to say? We've not had any problems yet. Not a problem a whipping can't solve.
Do his slaves look particularly whipped?
No, like not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Of the other places, it seems that anyone who has been quite heavily whipped or chastised in most ways would be kind of in the back, which is horrible to say. But you're like walking through the stall right now, and every single one of them looks quite healthy,
And I'll kind of
well fed.
I'll lean in because we're kind of like back further in the store now, away from like the big crowds and
Mhm.
stuff. I'll just kind of lean in and say, "It would seem you have not had to make an example of anyone amongst your stock here."
Well, they say that you catch more humans with honey than vinegar.
Can I roll insight on that to see if he's trying to lie right now?
Yeah!
The door to the place that we're in, can it be closed easily?
No doors. All
No
open
doors.
face.
All
Yeah.
open front. Okay.
There is a door. No doors. There is a door kind of at the back of the stall, which you guys are near right now. Yeah, you think he's lying. He's doing a pretty good play of it.
Yeah, but it seems like he might not actually be a slave driver.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say to him, I'll just say, how much for, and I'll kind of look and just say, this one, and I'll give it this whoever's standing beside me kind of like a push, just and try to gauge his reaction based on that.
Well, that depends. Are you part of any noble houses? We have discounts for some of the largest.
Ah, so you're seeking to sell to the most prominent houses.
Well, between you and me, it's always nice. And there's always little loopholes that can get you a better deal. If you even work for one of the greater houses. I sold a maiden to a blacksmith who worked for a house that did nothing to do with blacksmithing. But just because he worked for them, we could give him a lovely discount. And now he has a drow servant that can sing all the fairy tale songs from his childhood.
It's very wise of you.
Well, it's just the way business works, isn't it? The houses run the city, after all. I mean, they don't have much influence at a place like this.
The houses do run the city. For now.
He raises an eyebrow at that.
See, I serve no particular great house, at least not one that you would probably have heard of way out here. However, the person I do serve, perhaps you have heard of, the Blue-Eyed Goddess.
We're not in Narashiro, so that's not heretical, so we won't call the guards. But not everyone who wants freedom for all listens to a legend about a pretty princess. But if you're looking to help, and he kind of taps your, actually quite firmly, smacks your shoulder. I see you have not come to buy. You kind of feel some of the slaves relax, you know? And just relax their stance, not have to kind of put on a bit of a show.
Rofi would actually lift his mask up for a second, then he would still have the contacts in, but he might look a little bit less like a drow kid, to just sort of show what was going on.
To most people, you just look like a drow kid, mask or no. Even more so without the
doesn't know
mask.
that.
Yeah.
He's just like, he's trying to help.
I'll just say to him, no, that is true. I have not come to exchange coin for lives. It's not something I particularly take pride in when it comes to the way our society is structured. I merely came to introduce myself, and I'll give him a bow. and just
Well,
say I'm
I don't
boss.
think the forces of the Blue-Eyed Maiden are actually reached out this far. The Weavers, they're led by a Ronin, not linked to the goddess. I
Do
represent
you
them.
happen? I see. Goddess or no, I feel we both fall on the same side of many political issues.
Oh, absolutely.
And something I am curious about. You say many of your comrades here are versed in many languages, even common in some cases. How are any of them with the sword?
Kind of, it takes a moment, clearly sizing you up, and leans in a little closer and is like, these are not assassins. These are information gatherers. We are not an army, although that's changing. New equipment, a little bit of training. The Ronin that leads us is very strong, very powerful, quite tactical. When the time comes, she'll have to make soldiers out of scrawny little slaves. Well, all of them are made up for it. But then there's folks like you and me, a little bit better at this kind of thing. Sure it'll even out.
Mm-hmm. And who is this Ronin? I would very much like to meet this person someday.
If you prove yourself to be an ally of the cause, then maybe she'll make herself known to you.
That is typically how these things tend to work. Trust but verify, as they say.
Well, if that will be all, I have to sell some people.
I think that will be all for now. But one thing I will leave you with before I go. Should any of the scrawny slaves among you seek training, send them to the House of Dusk.
Understood.
Should be provided.
Understood.
And then
kind of
I'll just give him a bow and
Yeah, he'll step back out in front of the stall and start, calling people in and things like that. The general sort of showmanship that's been going on.
of course.
You were right. You have a good eye.
And yeah, as we're going out, I'll just be like, "Come along, son. No suitable slaves for our house here.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't the
Aw.
coin to afford them all."
He does the whole realization that it's very over the top. Aww, and then follows.
All right.
When you're walking back, a drow who's wearing kind of fitting garb to be one of these greeters kind of would step to the side in front of you guys and will say, "Complimentary drinks from the Southern Casino," and kind of hold out two kind of champagne glasses of a light wine.
Rofi would look to Voss, just like,
I will take one and then hand the other one to Rofi.
Okay.
The attendant will bow and head back off into the kitchen, seemingly, in
I
this
will
other
just
casino.
say, "Thank you for your hospitality." And then I'm going to basically, I'm not actually going to drink this. Just bring it up as if I'm taking a sip, mostly smelling it. Do I detect anything weird about it?
I am
Perception
actually
check,
gonna-
I suppose.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
it. You don't know enough about poisons to go, oh, it's
Yeah.
absolutely poisoned, but it smells wrong. You know?
Okay.
Just the smell of it's like. So you're pretty sure that is poison.
Is that
on
the
you.
right one? I think I can. Where is it?
Yes?
Detect poison thing.
Yeah!
I just flat out. He's just gonna he's gonna pull the thing out, shake it.
Yeah.
at us.
Ding! Poison.
Oh, he's gonna look at Voss.
Mm-hmm.
Puts it away.
It's like probably the first instance ever in D&D that I've ever wanted to have purified food and drink.
Oh!
Oh wait, no. If you look like you're gonna try and pretend to drink it,
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm not actually, but I'm trying to figure out what to do because I don't want it to be like dump, but I also don't because we're clearly being watched right now.
Rofi would do it again and then pull out another vial and like put some stuff in.
You kind of see the drinks like fizzle for a little bit, and then just dark sediment to the
Yeah,
very bottom
I
of
will
each
literally
glass.
just clink glasses.
Yeah.
To the usurper queen and just enjoy the whole thing.
You're fine.
So definitely not eating that chocolate.
You're definitely not eating that chocolate.
Yeah, and then
I'm gonna.
just kind of start heading back that way, and I'll just say to Kofi, we are.
Come on, no whammies.
We would just see. I imagine he's so tall. We would just see the lump of him over the crowd.
Yeah. Oh,
Over a table.
Yeah.
That way.
I figured, by the way, we probably have needed to gamble a little bit before you
Yes.
use pretense, realistically, because we don't want it to be suspicious at all. They do seem to be detecting magic, but you just also like see the future is how your portents work, right? So like,
Yeah.
fuck them, they can't tell that. So
As far as we know, I don't know. I am gonna smell the chocolate. Does it smell like magic?
You can give me a perception check.
It's the
Yeah,
chocolate
magic.
smell like
Yeah,
Does
because
it?
Hammond in Jarviskjir magic
Yeah.
smells.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Smells like sweet and kind of milky. It's weird.
Ooh.
You never seen
I'm
something
gonna take
like
a
this before.
little nibble of it.
Yeah,
That
it's
lasts 10
nice.
minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You go over and you
I
see
know, I
her
described it
gingerly.
differently.
Just a little bite.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Curious.
It tastes really nice. It's chocolate.
Nice.
It's
Cool.
great.
Yeah.
Funny story.
You want some cracker?
One of my like first characters was not of Earth, and they were addicted to chocolate once they discovered it.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna gamble.
absolutely. Roll me just a regular roll. Put down some gold. It's really there's kind of like every stakes in here. You can put down 1
This is
gold,
D20?
10 gold, regular 20. Yep.
Yeah. I will put down 10 gold. And roll a d20.
Pretty sure that means you don't make money or don't lose money, but let me check. In the gambling table. Ba 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 ba. Don't do gambling, kids.
or do.
Or do.
We're not your mothers.
Do it.
Good, good.
Aha, I forgot. It's a floating difficulty. Yeah, you actually will win an extra 5 gold and get your 10 gold back. You're doing relatively fine.
Fun. Alright. I do it again.
That's when the team to be discussed shows up.
Yeah.
Does she
Father and
still have
son?
the chocolate there?
Team Patricide.
Don't talk to
yeah,
me or my
fair
son ever again.
There we go. It's found.
Does Una still have like the chocolate visible anywhere?
Nah, I probably would have put it away.
Okay.
You can still detect it, though, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the way his works, he would have to. I would imagine he would take a little sample of it.
Well, it's like both, right? Maybe your little device also would alert you of poison around, and you can doubly test it, and it hasn't, right?
The little alarm goes off.
Yeah.
No poison. Good.
As we go over, I'm just gonna kind of lead in close to Rakath and just say quietly to you, I don't wish to alarm you. Someone just tried to poison Rofi and I.
You have success.
Rofi was able to nullify the poison, and then we drank it in open view.
That's not what I mean by success, although I'm happy for you that you were able to have a drink.
Also, reasonably, that would nullify the alcohol in it too, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Actually, yeah. It would just be.
Bubble
Why,
water.
it was fine for Rofi to drink it. He's still a young boy.
I did have success, but I fear we should not speak of it here.
That's all I need to hear, because that means that wherever you had success is already being watched.
Precisely.
Yes.
A gamble.
I would like to play some Traitors Run at some point.
Roll some dice, my friends.
Need money to play Traders Run.
I'll give you money.
How much money you willing to give? For the Traders?
It's good. I'll
I
give
don't
you
know what
100
your
gold.
track record for winning
them.
is.
You
You don't spend 100 gold in one game.
I gave you 50 gold? I don't know how much you spend.
I don't know how much I spend on these gamblings. I've never gambled before.
I mean, you still have that nat 1 in the chamber, so...
That's true.
Get
Okay.
a 6.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna play some Traders Run. How much can I put down out of 100 gold? I guess.
You could put 100. You could put 110 or 1. Really is the usual stuff.
Put 100 down.
Let's do 100. Why not? I'm
Okay.
gonna.
Oh.
What are we
roll.
saying? No,
My God.
Ollie, don't roll. He rolls a 6.
Yeah.
Not Rakath.
Well, I rolled a 26. Anyway.
That's a torturer's tools check.
That is a torture check. You are correct. They both start with T. Don't worry.
What a foolish mistake! Yeah, you still win.
22.
It's a game against a dwarf. Yeah, because Rakath is playing every race in Traders Run is the mission of the campaign. And he's like, and we'll mutter off, giving
was
you
a
10
valiant
gold,
game,
100 gold in return.
Nice. You can add that to your inventory because I've done my gamble.
Wasn't your day.
We had 409.
Yay!
We're gonna get murdered.
No, can you guys roll me either perception or insight?
Yeah, I'm literally just on high alert this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ropey would be as well. Very much so.
I'm gambling presently, so
Oh, apparently I see nothing. We see nothing! We're
everything's
screwed!
fine.
We're screwed!
You're pretty sure any sort of threat is past. Maybe, who knows? Who knows? But what's clear is that no one's giving you any trouble right now. In fact, considering the cash you're spraying around, the tables are more than happy to have you at them.
I'm actually going to stop being at the tables for a minute, and I'm going to walk up to Smiley, the greeter on the wall, and I'm going to sit down beside him so I can be more eye to eye, and just say, out of curiosity, the temple, which is in that tower over there, and I'm going to point to the tower that I was directed to before, is that to Potaita?
If you want it to be.
Oh, it's just a choose-your-own-adventure temple.
It was built to Potaita, but many confuse her artwork for that of the serpent goddess, and we accept that. If you want to, it is your faith. You can place it where you wish.
Well, so my reason for asking, and this is largely because I'm just a very curious, large individual, as I'm told many
Well,
times.
curiosity is not a crime here in Paradise.
No, but being large can be. I've been told that I'm too large for certain spaces.
A difficulty, yes, but not a crime.
I apologize. My anxiety tends to take over in conversation. This is why I asked for your name earlier. By the way, my name is Rakath.
You told me?
I don't think I told you. I might have told your friend who is called Greeter over there, but he wouldn't give me an
you told him as well. I think you kind of yelled it at him when you left.
Anyways, regardless whether I told you or not, my name is Rakath, and it's very nice to meet you. Are you okay with the name Smiley?
You can call me whatever you wish, but my name given to be by the matrons was How.
How? Well, it is very nice to meet you, How. And may I ask, and I am going, if you don't mind, I'm just going to note that down so I don't forget. Because
You are intending to stay here for quite some time to remember the names of the staff.
Well, that is kind of my point, is I like this place quite a lot. And I'm wondering if you can tell me more about it. Because
Well,
really, it's very cool.
I suppose what it is, what do you want?
Well, I would love to know more about this history of this place, how it came to be, why it is the way it is. Not just that, but how the staff tend to go around as though they are wearing plain clothes. I find that fascinating. They are not presenting themselves as gods, rather as just friendly individuals that exist within the space. That's so pleasant. And it's so...
you noticed that.
Oh, of course, absolutely. I also notice when people are watching. I find that very fascinating as well, though I get that a lot, as you can tell.
You understand that there are a lot of wannabe magicians who walk in here who think that they can use spells to change their luck, and while we accept and are quite respecting of the skill that goes into that, it would ruin the fun of the game.
Precisely. Now that I find fascinating because you don't overtly state that anywhere, which really can get you into some legal conundrums as well, I'm sure. But that is also
just
a
between you and me, I think it encourages a little bit of trouble. A little bit of trouble is a little bit of thrill, and that's what it's all about.
I understand that. People are always so much more susceptible to do these wild and dangerous things if they aren't told explicitly that they
We
can.
don't want it to feel like there are rules here in Paradise. So many of our people are bogged down by rules and only get to live their dreams when they have done their duty. But this is a place where dreams come true, as long as your dreams are of the flesh.
Right. Fascinating. Tell me more. Tell me more about this place.
Well, I don't know how much of the history would be of interest to you, but
Any of it. However much you'd like.
By, I believe the very first settling was not of loyalists to our goddess, but we took control of the place generations ago and formed it into a bit of a hub. A lot of people want to buy and sell slaves in this world of ours, and we merely help in that sort of thing and make it quite a comfortable place while we're here. And we believe that our creed is that life is to be enjoyed. There's pleasure in food, drink, but games, in conversation, in meetings that you wouldn't have in any other ways, which is why we've absolutely opened our gates to the drow of Narashiro and the dwarves of Abanir, and if any Ebimari wish to drift in through this door, they are more than welcome, but it is quite a way for them to travel, I'm sure.
Yes. They're very fascinating folk. Now, actually, you might know about this because there is a famous drow by the name of Hedon, founded the notion of hedonism, which is actually very similar to this. It's the idea of, the pleasures being the most important thing in life and really striving for that pleasure in everything you do.
Yes.
Very fascinating.
Well, we have found that, and this might be rude to say, but I think that some usurper elves may do worship to Pultita even without knowing it. But is that a prayer, even if you don't know who you pray to? These are questions that maybe don't ever need answers. But it is an interesting thing to think about.
You are a very well-studied individual.
I am a
And-
cleric of our faith.
Ah, excellent. So that explains something there. I was going to ask, how connected is this place to the tower? And it seems very, which is...
Not everyone here openly worships. Not everyone here is from our enclave of Gokhan. There are other enclaves who do business here, and they do their business in their very typical way. Many of our people, they hide away the emotion to focus on work, and that is also to be respected. That is their way, and we respect everyone in however they want to enjoy their lives. But
Cool.
most of the staff you'll find here will at least have some adoration for the goddess of hedonism and revelry.
Yes. Oh, that's fascinating. I love the study of philosophies and cultures and those types of things. Don't have many opportunities to do it in my line of work, but very interesting. So I tend to get people's takes on it as much as I can, and yours has been very fascinating. So thank you very much for your time. I do have one more question. I was told that I might be able to connect with a particular scholar from the Azit Enclave.
I do not believe their kind creates scholars, sir. It might have been rude of me to say that, but they are warriors.
That's my point. And apparently they have a scholar who's been doing business. So I was trying to connect with them to try and understand what that warrior culture looks like.
Can you give me a persuasion? Persuasion check. You're deceiving, but you've been making a nice, genuine conversation.
It's 20.
Well, just between you and me, I've been hearing that as it occasionally comes in here with a magical form of crystal that is now contraband in the city of Narashiro. We will be cracking down on that due to our allegiance with Narashiro. Buying and selling Aether Crystal will remain legal in Gokhan's Paradise, but if you are intending to take it to the city of Drow, then that will not be allowed, and we will be telling that to the Azit representatives as they arrive. I do not believe any are here right now, but I may be genuinely mistaken. It is not my place to watch everyone who comes and goes.
Of course.
Merely to watch those who are playing the tables.
Right. And I'm sure many people do watch over everyone who comes and goes. But, of course, not everyone can be expected to do that all at once. That would be redundant work. And redundancy in work is not a good way to enjoy oneself in life.
We might not be like many of our other kind, but we hate inefficiency just as much as anyone else.
Thank you. There is joy in efficiency, honestly. There's some
joy in efficiency. There is no point in eating if you cannot eat anymore.
Precisely. There's no point in trapping yourself in a room with an old drow woman if you don't intend to stay there forever. Because she
I
will keep
don't
you...
believe I know that idiom.
Yes, well, please feel free to introduce it into your vocabulary. It's a very well-known one in Narashiro.
Somewhere a shiver goes up Voss's spine.
Well, what I will say is thank you very much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. If you do hear of any Azit coming in, I would be very gracious if you were to let me know. Or if anyone has heard, and if they let me know, that's also okay. Although, of course, I'd prefer to talk to you. You've been so kind. And
well, that's very kind of you to say that I've been so kind.
Oh, I like you very much, Hal.
I will let you know if I hear anything of the Enclave.
Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.
Gives you, a bit of a nod. It's not so much a formal bow and kind of walk around you to go. And he immediately walks up to a table and that's playing like a card game. He kind of grabs someone's wrist and like a couple of cards fall out of the sleeve. And you've just been watching him while he's been having this conversation.
Naughty.
I'm gonna go sit down back by you.
I'm gonna gamble.
You're gonna lose that money.
Alright.
That's okay.
It is just 10 until I say I'm like doing like
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was assuming.
yeah.
And come back to Yuna losing.
Very sad.
Yuna.
Did you what game are you playing right now? It's an important question.
A card game of sorts, I imagine.
Oh.
I was akin to blackjack, right?
Yeah.
With a few different players and a dealer.
In the future, you don't want that many cards. So don't. No, you want less cards. Less numbers on.
Please,
you know what
no
I mean.
backseat gaming, please.
Of course. Sorry.
He's my friend.
She's
I'm sure
new.
he is.
Sorry, she's just new at this.
Now remember, queens are hot.
Aren't they always?
We'll try that again.
How jovial. Yeah, you lose that money as well.
I don't like this game. Let's go try this run again.
Okay. How much do you want me to put down on Trader's Run this time?
I give you 100 gold.
Oh!
Ooh-wee.
Okay, I'm gonna roll.
Other person rolls a 1.
Whoa! Absolutely. You actually are playing against a drow, but they're wearing clothing that wouldn't lead you to believe they're from Narashiro. It's almost, tribal isn't the right term, but it's made of a much more natural hide and things like that. Some sort of beast fur and stuff. And like, game is much simpler from where I'm from. Less pieces.
Would you like some tips?
Monster.
Yes, I
Walk
know.
away.
Rakath is the preferred terminology if you want to use the Elvish, but that's okay.
He leaves.
It's
You get another 100 gold!
I'm just
100
again
gold.
on high alert while this is happening, looking around.
Can I make an additional insight check to see if anybody's...
crowds.
Yeah, insights again. Give me round table rolls.
11. It's 2 better.
That is
gonna
better
use-
than last time.
I'm gonna use the device that Rofi
Yeah.
gave me, roll with advantage, which I'm now assuming is some kind of like monocle.
No, you click it and it like has like a magical buzz around you.
Cool.
That's
don't
not
know
going
what
to set off all the alarms.
Huzzah! That's so bad.
You
Well,
look
I'm
around the
not playing the
room
game.
as the device kind of crumples into bolts and scrap metal in your hands. Smiley, Hal will walk over and will say, "Excuse me, friend. It seems that you are using some sort of arcane device. I'm going to have to ask you to either buy a room and head on upstairs, or to leave."
We'll take a room.
Yes, please.
Well, let me lead you to, and kind of lead you to the table to buy, to the, office to buy rooms.
Thank
They
you
would be
very much.
very expensive.
That's okay.
Let me find that. I mean,
just run
you just won a bunch of money so you can pay for them, which is the way to go in this kind of thing.
By the way, How, just so you know, what he was doing, because this is an additional point of interest, he's a bodyguard, and he is fearing for his life in general because he's paranoid.
It's 2 to 4 gold for a room here.
I think we need just a party room that we share.
Yeah, if you got a 4 gold room, it's it's fancy.
Or if he's like picking up the gears and pieces off the ground.
How is keeps on smiling and says, "If you were feared for you and your party's life, then you merely have to tell us. The safety of everyone in Paradise is of great importance to us. Some people think that this is an excellent place for an execution or assassination, but they'll find themselves surely mistaken."
I certainly hope so.
Can I insight this guy?
Yes! I'm sure you'll do very well.
I better.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Hey! This is what happens when you build a rapport with an NPC. You get the insight roll. Yeah, he genuinely believes that, the sort of web of protection in this casino, at least, would make most attempts on an assassination fruitless.
Except, by them. Considering they handed us poison.
Yeah, but well, that was at a different place by a different
It wasn't.
person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he
I thought it was
at
one
least
of the
has no
attempts.
knowledge of any plot to assassinate you. He's
Ah,
being
fair.
entirely genuine and very polite.
I very much appreciate your hospitality, Hal.
If you
They
would
came
wish,
from-
then we can. There are bodyguards for sale for an extra gold a night.
That won't be necessary. He's just a little antsy because he came from another one of the locations here before, and there was someone who was a little bit shady. He was using that specifically to help him perceive more clearly to see if they were here and they had followed. It won't happen again, I assure you.
Rofi just walked on. It doesn't seem to be working properly anyway.
Yes, that is... yes. Anyways, thank you very much. And
We can. You can buy a room.
Yeah, we'll buy a room. Do I have to leave too, or just him? I didn't do anything.
If you're
wrong.
not going to cause any more, if you're not going to use any more arcane abilities, then feel free to stay and gamble until your bodies need to rest.
Gosh, boss, cheating.
how could you?
Rakath walks back in with Yuna.
I merely don't appreciate when the patrons of the place I am visiting attempt to poison me.
Well,
Was that
I will admit that in some other establishments, what they will sell you as forms of alcohol might not be up to code, but I guarantee that everything served here is completely potable.
Ooh,
I have no doubt.
are they potent by any chance?
If you wish them to be. The greatest cocktails in the Enclave.
Oh, lovely.
We'll give him money for a room, by the way. How much is it?
4 gold each for a the party room.
Yeah.
Party room. Party room. Okay, sorry.
Awesome.
Shall we get?
Yeah. Let's
I'm
gamble.
mostly going to be keeping an eye on things and letting Yuna gamble.
Yeah.
You lose again? Oh, so good. While you're gambling, you know, you're doing your thing, one of the gnomish attendants will come up and will say, this is compliments of a guest here. And we'll hand you,
thank you.
what is essentially, you know, those kind of like prawn cocktail glasses. They got the prawns, and yeah, prawns and shrimp absolutely do exist in water in the Underdark. It was a nice tasty sauce.
Are they?
There's, well, perception checks or a spell. If Rofi has any sciences left, I don't know if he does.
I'm
He's used a
actually
lot.
going to
Say, hold on one moment, please, Yuna. And
I'm going to pick it up
The
and
problem is, I think I went with
I'm going to
Boss.
bring this over.
This is to all 4 of you. You're all
Yeah,
together.
We're
Oh,
all together
okay.
now. so.
Yeah.
that-
But it was cool if we went back in as long as we didn't use. the
I can do it
GPS.
exactly one more time.
Oh, I was gonna say don't bother.
okay.
I was literally just gonna walk over to Hao and just say,
a guest just gifted this to us, and our bodyguard is concerned, and I'm wondering if you might be able to just detect whether or not this is
Oh.
poison.
He will clutch a red feather that's kind of tied to a bracelet of his, and a little bit of magic that kind of sparks off him in kind of a reddish color, and then his eyes widen and says, "Oh, no, this is fouled. I am very
what
sorry,
I
and I will have more appropriate food sent to you, and I'll have
I
whoever
would-
sent this flogged for this."
I
And he'll
would-
kind of
Is actually that you keep it quiet for the moment, but rather just let us know who sent it, and then we can communicate.
intrigue. I understand. That is the way. Yes.
If you don't mind. Thank you very much, Hal. I appreciate it. It is just my friends are paranoid, but often rightfully so.
He will walk away nodding, kind of taking the food away. What are you guys doing?
I'm walking back over to them and saying,
Well, that was not good. He's going to let us know what happened.
That's a much better way of dealing with that.
Yes, I like
Rofi
talking
puts his tail away.
and building a rapport with people because it helps.
Yeah, that's coming handy.
Genuinely talk to someone who runs, a good portion of the. It helps. It generally, this is how this stuff works. I don't know
I've always just found it
social
pain.
interactions you all have been in, but that is how these operate. Hey, let's gamble.
That's sad.
Let's take a little break before you gamble some more. And have a little bit more fun in paradise.
Gambling.
Ooh.